The Biden administration offering $1 million out to organizations who want to help delegitimize the state of Israel, to accuse Israel of atrocities. That means war crimes. They are utilizing the State Department's Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor to solicit, so ask nonprofit groups to apply for grants up to $900,000, almost $1 million in grants, to, quote, strengthen accountability and human rights in Israel and the West Bank and Gaza. What would this grant actually do?
It basically is an effort to undermine the central thesis of the nation of Israel as the rightful homeland of the Jewish people. And so it is promoting efforts to support UNHRC, which will talk about apartheid and oppression and occupation, when we know this is the lone democracy in the Middle East, is a 180-degree reversal from where we were 4 years ago. And it is dangerous for the state of Israel, frankly, to the Abraham Accords, which are such an important thing for the United States of America.
The Biden administration is essentially saying that Israel is doing the same thing that Putin is doing in Ukraine. So atrocities is not just a tough-sounding word. It's a word that means, it kind of includes war crimes, crimes against humanity. They are literally pulling their staff from some of the most anti-Israel organizations in the world. That's who they've decided we're going to choose from. George Salem just got appointed by USAID, of course, to be the inaugural board chair of the Partnership for Peace Fund Advisory Board. Guess what he did the last 6 years? He was a registered foreign lobbyist for the Palestinian Authority's Monetary Fund. You've got to be kidding me. This is the Palestinian Authority that uses money to pay for slay. The head of this bureau, so within the State Department, the Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor, or DRL at the State Department, the nominee, they've been stalled in the Senate for months because of her anti-Israel activism. And she was the head of Human Rights Watch in Washington, D.C. They routinely criminalize Israel and accuse Israel of what? Well, see, they actually use the more specific term of art that falls under atrocities, crimes against humanity. But then they go further. They say, there's those two. But then also we'll bring in the former head of the UN Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, which, by the way, has been a complete disaster at the UN, and we know that, with trying to deal with what they quote-unquote call refugees. We'll bring her in, too, as a deputy secretary at the State Department. This is all trying to be done without you paying attention. It appears that this would be giving them an opportunity, funded by the U.S. taxpayer, to build ammunition for their support of the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement against Israel.
This is all deeply a part of what I'll describe as at least the anti-Zionist, in many cases anti-Semitic left, who truly would prefer that Israel not exist in its current form as this unique beacon for democracy in the Middle East. They're talking about reconstituting the consulate in Jerusalem. We don't have a U.S. consulate at the same place we have an embassy anywhere in the world. It would be illegal. It would be immoral. These are all pieces and parts of their effort to frame the Israelis as the malign actor in the Middle East, when in fact they are the ones that have created peace, created prosperity, and they're doing this all while sitting at the table negotiating with the Chinese and the Russians and the Iranians to give Iran money and lifting of sanctions on their terror.
It's not going to anything to assist us or our allies. It's going to undermine a solid ally of the United States. And I think that is what is so disturbing here, is that this money is being used. It's not even the amount. It's the policy behind it. So it seems like there is this kind of shadow campaign against Israel happening as best they can, trying to keep it secret, trying to not make a lot of news, trying to keep these grants. Yeah, it's $1 million, so it won't be the front page news. But it feels like a shadow campaign against Israel, or to pressure Israel into a certain position.
It's a deep effort, one that's gone on inside not only the American bureaucracy, but at the UN. When they spend more time sanctioning and putting resolutions against Israel than they do horrific states like North Korea and China and Vladimir Putin, something is deeply corrupt.
What this really is about is funding, through your taxpayer dollars, the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, the anti-Israel movement. When we talk about how Joe Biden and the Biden administration is owned by the radical left, this is another example. This is exactly what the squad wants. This is what Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, AOC, this is what they all want. They want the idea to delegitimize the state of Israel, and now the U.S. State Department is handing out money to groups to do that work for them.